right now. If you know, it is. I told Will last night because he was like, you know, what you think? I was like, this is Hangover 1 funny.
Oh, wow.
That's a big statement, though.
I mean, Hangover 1.
That's a big statement.
I'm here to bring the #1 energy.
Talk about it.
So we have all these creatives. So I'm going to be the basic individual. Just says we gotta make this movie #1.
Yeah,
it is.
We're undefeated.
It's fall on the floor, get dirty. On the popcorn sticky floor, funny when you fall down.
It's, you know, talking about this girls trip, and we're gonna have, you know, more. Log on to watchbig03.com right now. But it was the movie that, and I was telling Gerard, I haven't heard laughter like that in the theater since Eddie Murphy's Raw.
Oh,
wow. Like it was just like,
wow.
Well, you couldn't even hear some of the lines because people were so laughing so hard at some of the scenes. Like, it's one of those movies you're going to have to go see twice because you're going to miss something.
Regina's doing the speech at the end. I was looking for Rosa Parks. People start clapping in the theater, and I was like, well, should I clap?
Should I clap? They're looking at you like, why you not clapping?
That's true, though.
But what a statement that makes, though, that it affects us so much, like as men. Because did you anticipate that, Will?
Well, here's the thing. It was, I produced it, obviously. Malcolm Lee directed it. You know, any strong brother, you know how to get out of the way and let the women do their thing.
Right.
But we wanted to make sure that while it was funny, while it had heart, that it was true to what it really. Let me tell you something. When sisters go down and go on a trip and we ain't around,
oh man,
they are free.
Yes, sir.
That's the definition of a
yes,
power.
sir. We know that much.
Fellas, y'all need to go watch this movie so y'all can see what's really happening.
Right.
See, we think we got them golf trips to Brazil on lock. Let me tell you something.
Now they know why we come home so happy.
There you go. See that? We ain't got nothing on them.
Watch out there, Regina. All right, we got more when we come back, man. We, log on to watchbig03.com. I'm going to talk about this with Will and with, of course, the lovely ladies here.
Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this day of life. My heart is so full of joy for these women right here. Lord, please make sure that Lisa don't get an STD and that nobody has kidney failure because we finna get messed up and let me get pregnant by somebody rich. That's all I ask. Amen.
9:03 right now.
Really?
Log on to watchbig03.com and see our guests in the studio, Jada Pinkett Smith, Regina Hall, and I'll start off with Will Power Packer. Will.
Yeah, man.
Your movies have explosions, they have shooting and all that, but dude.
Yeah.
You went there with this, man. You this is the most, explicit, humor I've seen you do, man.
Yeah.
How you feel right now with your raunch yourself?
It's a hard R. That's what we call it in the industry. It ain't just R. It's all the way R. It ain't barely R. So it ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
But look, if it's for the grown folks. It is. It goes there. But it's real.
It is.
Like, I mean, Ryan, you saw the movie last night.
Yeah.
That's how we talk.
Right.
That's how they talk when we not around. You know what I mean? So we got to keep it real.
How we talk.
Regina, you and Will and your career, y'all been together on a couple of different projects. What was it about this movie that you was like, I'm in? Was it just a call? What was it?
I mean, I think a few years ago, Will and I just happened to be traveling, and he just was talking. Sometimes you sit on a plane and people are talking, and he was telling me about an idea, not necessarily saying anything specific, but I was like, that's a great idea in general. So when he finally pulled the movie together 2 years later, and then I had the opportunity. The rest of our cast was amazing. He's like, the great thing about working with Will and having history with him is that you can trust that wherever you are, it's only going to elevate, So working with, the amazing Jada, the amazing Latifah, and then discovering Tiffany, we collaborated, we took everything we had, and we were like, let's put our stamp, our seal. Will was right there, Malcolm supporting. So it was just collectively it was a home run, like from where we started.
And to watch Jada and Latifah together again,
right.
And I don't want to give away anything,
right?
But for those who are fans of you guys from like the Set It Off, there's one particular scene that is so unspoken that the audience just erupted, and it just shows you what the power of movie making does when people like really gravitate to a particular film. Like that was to me that was the writing of this whole thing, and I even said that with the Spider-Man movie, it's like it's speaking to the audience as opposed to somebody trying to convey their script. You're like, I feel like I'm really like I want to go to New Orleans right now.
Right.
And I've been going for 20 years. Like, how was it being back with Latifah?
Oh, it was wonderful. I mean, you know, Latifah and I have continued to work over the years. You know, whether I'm producing something for her and she's in front of the camera or vice versa. And this was the first time we were on the camera together in so long. And I actually really miss being with her on screen like that. So we just have to do it more often. But, you know, she and I just have a real beautiful flow together. And now I got a real beautiful flow with Regina and Tiffany. We got to do more stuff together.
And Tiffany.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, we were talking about it, you know, Patricia and I was just saying, like, it's comedy and it's timing, but it's just something where, like, you're waiting for the next line because you know, like, she you know, she could have had on a skirt because she kilted it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's how it was.
Yes.
It's her time.
Yeah.
It's a moment for her.
It is a
You know, it's, a lot of times artists just need a platform.
Yep.
Right.
You know, and I remember seeing this, you know, Kevin Hart was killing it in the streets, on the bootlegs, on YouTube. He was, but Hollywood was not checking for him.
Yep.
I remember first going out talking about Kevin Hart, and they said, "Oh, we know who Kevin Hart is," and you know, Soul Plane didn't open, and his sitcom got canceled, and he's not a star. Look at he's too short. Like all this stuff was said about him. He just needed that platform. For him, it was Think Like a Man.
Yeah.
Tiffany's been around.
Right.
She has got an incredible story.
Yep.
She has been on the stand-up circuit. She's been through some personal challenges. She had a show on NBC. Like she's been around.
Right.
But she needed that platform. This is that platform for her.
Yes, it is.
The thing for me that kind of struck me this morning, because again, Ryan came in this morning, was extra excited about the movie, and I couldn't be at the movie last night. So the first thing I thought, though, other than him being hyped, was dealing with the stuff that we're dealing with right now as people, right? You need a movie like this right now that's like light and fun and shows and depicts a story of not dealing with so much BS that we're dealing with right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like it's a timing thing on top of the content of the movie itself. You know what I mean? So how does it feel to get that kind of a reaction from people, especially dudes? Because let's be honest. Like, it's a movie where dudes are probably at first like, wait a minute, man.
Girl trip.
Do I really want to go see that movie? Because is it going to tell me stuff I don't really want to know? You know what I'm saying? But even the climate that we live in right now, it just feels like it's necessary. You know what I mean? Like, what's that energy got to feel like for all of you?
The energy feel?
Yeah.
As far as like being able to
impact our culture right now in the climate that we're living in with this kind of a project.
I think it's important. I mean, I was telling someone the other day that not only do I like this movie, but I'm proud of this movie because of what it says about culture.
Right.
Our culture in particular, and just black women. When you tend to see black women kind of fighting each other in these kind of, you know, crazy cat fights or what have you. And, you know, at the end of the day, we as black women are really tied. We really do we support each other through everything.
Right.
And we don't show that side enough.
Right.
You know, that's how our community has really survived.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's important to show the friendship and the love between us.
Right.
And also to show that you can be responsible women who can cut loose. Because I also think that because of our history in this country, we tend to feel like we don't have the right to cut loose. You know, that we always have to hold a certain standard.
Right.
You know, but that we're not allowed to have fun or to dance with our shadows or be sexual or, you know, enjoy our bodies, enjoy, you know, our men, you know, whatever.
Right.
So I just really, what I love about this movie is that it shows us in so many different lights.
Yes.
Right.
You know, and I think that's important.
And I think what she's saying is that basically our images have been marginalized. And when our images are marginalized, we marginalize ourselves.
There it is.
And it goes hand in hand. And so once you start to open that up, I think it will open who we are, how we view ourselves. You know, that will change, and that dynamic, it really needs to for us to continue to evolve and progress. And I'm excited that we get to show, like she said, every single part of what it is to be human.
Yeah.
You know, we are sexual, we are
Intelligent.
funny, intelligent,
Yes.
you know, and all of that exists within us. You know?
Right. And I think it's important. The other thing I want to just for some of those audience members out there who might look at some of the more comedic trailers that have been out and might feel like this is not a movie for them, give it a shot, because this movie, I promise you, this movie has so much heart. This movie has such a beautiful message about female empowerment, and not just female empowerment, but just the empowerment and the courage, self-empowerment, right, what someone has to have to just live their truth. So I know that, you know, some people are like, oh man, this seems a little raunchy. Okay, yes, that's just one little aspect of this movie. If you just give it a shot, I promise you, you're gonna feel so much love, so much heart, and such a beautiful message.
Yeah.
To me,
and laugh all the way.
Yeah,
you're gonna laugh all the way.
And that's what I think the combination is. The fact that you get the heart and the laughter.
Right.
Because message and no joy doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Well,
Joy with no substance doesn't work. You know,
all about
that one. It's got to be the
in the very beginning, you know, there's a scene that when, you know, you guys go to a different hotel, and the movie, like when you're watching the movie, you kind of still trying to figure it out because it's very early, and the movie takes a turn, and I said, oh hell, you know, it was like, oh, it's gonna be like that, you know. But going back to what you were saying, Jada, I think, like for me, and I know, like a lot of times because of what the title is, you want to say, oh, is this a chick flick, whatever.
Yeah.
It made me start thinking about my frat brothers. I was like, man, it's been about 5 years since we got together, and we need to get together again. And then about the relationship between, sometimes somebody say, oh, we're gonna do this, and they waffle and they don't do it, and y'all fall out. Like, to me, it just made me start thinking about things that I have going on in my own life. I was like, you know, it is not gender specific.
It's not, and you make a very important point, because not only is it not gender specific, but it's also not just specific to our culture either.
Right.
You know what I mean? This movie really is a movie for everybody.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love about it, that it stars 4 black women, but it's a movie for everybody. You know, and I really feel like as we are trying to expand our presence in Hollywood, it's important that we as people of color can make projects that are our authentic experience, but that we can bring people into that experience and they can feel a part of it and relate to it. And that is another aspect of this movie that I just absolutely love.
Now let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Preaching on people.
That's what I'm talking about.
You can't. No, you can't fake that passion. She can't do that unless she feels that way, or fly to Atlanta and get up and do press 7 in the morning. But that is how real it feels, and to be able to sit across from you, and you as a man sit and say, it made me think about this, I thought about that, and I laughed. Like you had a full experience, and things that went wrong, and friendships or promises, and you know that's my heart is warming.
Isn't it warm?
It was just, it was drop dead funny. Like I was saying, you know, I go to movies all the time, and Will, you know, me and you go way back, but to listen, it was like one of the, they call it that gut bucket laugh. You know, it's like a pea stain laugh. You know what I'm saying? You look down, oh, I know, there's a pea stain down there, because you're laughing so hard at some of the scenes, man, and the writing was just unbelievable.
Kenya Barris, who created Blackish, he and his writing partner Tracy Oliver, that's who wrote it. Yep. So
was it hard to get it made, Will?
And Karen came in. Karen McCullough came in and did some excellent touch-up work.
Because we talked in the past about you saying, you know, you have to be able to sell a movie to Hollywood and get it made. Was it hard to get this done because of your track record? Was it easier?
It was. It's always a challenge. It's hard to get any movie made. Period. Point blank. I mean, you know how it is. It's tough, and comedies aren't really working at the box office, and so it's an interesting time. And so, you know, we have this movie, and we have it with these actresses who are amazing, but the conversation always comes up, well, you know, can we diversify the group a little bit? Like, you know, that's just Hollywood. They're gonna always ask that. Like, does it have to be all 4 black women? Could we and it wasn't, you know, it was the knee jerk from Hollywood of, well, how do we play to the broadest audience? And so what I as a producer had to do is say, listen, if we're gonna make this movie, we gotta make it authentic. And when you go to Essence, the groups of women, this is what they look like. They look like Jada, Regina, Queen, Tiffany. You know what I mean? They don't look like Jada and Becky and, you know, Consuela. And nothing wrong with that, but that's a different movie. This movie has to be true to what it really is. And I think, like Jada said,
this year, though,
There was some diversity down there. Wait till next year.
Everybody has discovered Essence now, right?
Yeah.
All right, Essence for the diversity.
We're going to cross Essence over next year. This movie going to mess it up for everybody. I'm sorry.
But I think that goes to the point. I was just about to say, like, the concept of the movie kind of eliminates color lines because
Exactly.
it doesn't matter what race you are. This is something that every group of girls wants to go do.
And guys.
The themes are universal. When you take a movie and you put the universal themes in it, it doesn't matter who the color of the people when it's truly authentic to the story. Like, we're not black because it's Essence Fest. It's for black women. But the themes of the movie, friendship, sisterhood, past pain, friendship, healing, growth, funny, penises.
In
raw
one sentence.
penises. You know, cannabis. I mean, all those things are a part of every, I hope.
And I do think even in our, I was talking to Will about this when we were on set, but I was like, you know, as we, as people of color, are talking about the necessity of diversity, we know that our worlds aren't just black.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? We got all kinds of friends. We in all kinds of circles that we can't be afraid that even when we're making movies about our experiences, that we can expand our worlds in the way in which we are actually living them.
Yep.
You know, and so we have a responsibility as well in this inclusiveness.
Right.
And you know, it really made sense too. Where there was Kate Walsh who came in, she would be, you know, my agent.
Yeah.
You know, and the woman signing the deal, she was, and that made sense. And you know, when things, hey Karen, see, you know, and things make sense, and they're just true, and they're not questioned, and they don't feel forced. And I think these 4 women in college, you know, meeting and growing and expanding to have, you know, diversified relationships, it makes sense.
They went to FAMU in the movie, Ryan. I don't know if you caught that. I don't know if you caught that.
You know,
Rattlers.
there was a radio DJ scene. I was like, that dude didn't do the part like I would have did. But I'll let that go. 917
We shot it in New Orleans. I went local.
That's okay. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. It's really shot in Atlanta. Everything shot in Atlanta.
You could have traveled.
I sure could. Thank you, Regina.
Thanks, Regina.
No, sorry.
Appreciate you hugging my back.
Trouble with my home team.
We got like a couple of minutes. I know you guys got a tight schedule, but Jada, I was talking to you off the air about you know, I've been a fan forever. You know, my kids who did not know about some of my son and all of them, they're younger, but we watch Gotham religiously and love your Fish Mooney character on there. But I was just saying that I take your word as bond, and I really wanted to go and see the Tupac movie, but when you started to talk about some of the things that you had a problem with, I didn't go and see it.
Right.
And I wanted to get your take on what is the line of trying to retell a story that so many people are really vested in knowing, and should you take poetic license when you lived it?
Yeah, and one thing I want to say about me making that statement was, it wasn't to have people not go see it. It was just I wanted people to know what you're seeing in regards to my relationship with Tupac is not true. And that was important to me because my relationship was really special. And it was very complicated. And I just felt like it was a huge disservice. And that really through my relationship with Pac would have shown people what he truly was. Because it's one thing to see Pac's persona publicly and who he was personally. And, you know, what made it even more painful is those guys know me. Those cold black dudes know me. We've done business together. We did Free Angela together. So I know that they knew how to reach for me. And that's not to say that I would have participated in it either. But it was just across the board. I thought it was just handled in a very disrespectful way. And I felt like it was exploitive of me and Pac, how they used our relationship to sell a movie. And I just felt like it was tomb raiding in regards to Pac. You know what I'm saying? And if you really saying you're honoring a man's legacy, then honor his legacy. And if you don't have the story, fall back until you do. And I feel like we as black people, we have got to protect those individuals that we say are important to us, to our history, and to our culture. We cannot expect other people to do that if we're not willing to do that ourselves. Pac is precious to us, you know, and so, you know, it was really hard, you know, and it was really hard to just be with it in the way that I had to, and but it's all good, you know. But I do believe that when we're doing biopics about people, you know, that are a part of our community and who are special to us, we have to treasure and we have to really tell those stories in a special way. And it can't be about money. Mm-hmm. It can't be about money. You know, that's one of the reasons why I love French movies, because they get their money from the government. You know what I'm saying? They make some authentic movies because it's not about box office. Right. You know, and I just really feel like these cats, nobody's stupid. We all here know how this game is played. Right. Ain't nobody dumb. So you can pull the wool over anybody's eyes you want. But here's what's real. If they can wake up in the morning and look at themselves in the mirror, because we all know what sits in our hearts. And here's who you can hide from, the higher power. So if you really feel like you did right by Pac, then congratulations. But if you didn't, really sit with that. Because I hope next time if you get an opportunity to make another movie about a legend, you'll do a different thing.
It is. Pinkett Smith right here. 922. Will, we're undefeated in Atlanta. I hope you know that. We are. You know, every time you have a movie, no matter where it is, it could be straight out of Boston, and it'll still open #1 in Atlanta. I'm just letting you know.
ATL supports me. Starting with you, Ryan. Thank you, man. I mean that. Thank you, everybody in Atlanta
listening. Have my back. You know, maybe will
and all this nice stuff he's saying about you.
And you know what?
He didn't say it earlier.
Regina, I feel like if
when we
I
were shooting,
give
I said,
"Should
we get Ryan?" I said, "Can't we get Ryan?"
No, you didn't say that, Regina, because
I did. I did remember.
Didn't come up.
I said it, Ryan. Just know, absolutely.
I owe you one, Ryan. I do.
I got Jada in my corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you do.
Listen, next one, right?
Let me tell you, this guy right here always. Quick story. I don't even know if you know this, but I met my wife at Essence, and that, you know, kind of started me thinking, I should make a movie about this. Regina, it is true. Don't say that, because it's true. Anyway, I was down there with Idris Elba on a boat cruise, and she was working for the company I was sponsoring the boat cruise. We both ended up stuck on the boat. Did you host a party years ago with Idris on the boat? You were the one host. I didn't think about that till right now.
And Melody Fiona performed. It was her birthday.
You remember that?
And it was hot as hell.
So he's how you met your wife. And you wouldn't put him in the movie.
As DJ Khaled would say, as Khaled would say, Regina, another one.
Wow, exactly.
Girls Trip 2. I owe you.
When is it open? Tell everybody.
July 21st. Tickets are on sale now. I love it because people are getting together and getting groups. Women are getting their girls trip groups together. They're posting
and guys can do it too. Yeah. We should have a guys trip.
Fellas, you gotta go see.
Tell you, fellas, I'm gonna tell you where the ladies gonna be on July 21st. So if you know, like I know, if you know, like I know, you need to roll up in one of the theaters and serving drinks.
Most definitely,
because these ladies gonna come out happy. They gonna come out laughing and feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, they're gonna
open.
Yeah,
July 21st. Open.
Heard it.
Open. Grapefruit for everybody.
Grapefruit seed. You gotta see the movie just so you know what Ryan is talking about.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all coming in.
Thank you always. Thank you, Atlanta.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having my back, whatever will. V103.
Now, let's go to the V103 Traffic Center.